went from this to this. This is what my nail art looked like when I started out. What's up guys, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. My name is Celina, and I have been doing nails since 2005. And in this video, we are going to go over some of my first nail art designs that I ever did. Yay. So this is actually the first video of my new nail art school series. And in this series, we're gonna talk about everything concerning nail art and confidence, because I get so many questions all the time from people asking, how can I get better at nail art when my confidence is just not there and it's hard for me to just put down my brush on the nail and paint a straight line. So we need to wind it up a little bit first. I started out 2005, and before that I have always been interested in drawing. I have been painting since I was a kid. When I was actually a kid, I wanted to be a painter when I grew up, because my grandfather on my mom's side was a painter. I actually never got to meet him because he died before I got born, but I have always grown up with all of his paintings hanging around the house, so he was a huge inspiration for me. And my favorite medium to work with as a kid was just a regular technical pencil, and I drew these faces. I actually printed pictures of famous people, like faces like that, and then I tried to copy that with my pencil. That was a lot of fun. I did that for many years. I love drawing hair for some reason, because I think it's so intricate and I guess it's a challenge, but I love to challenge myself. So yeah, maybe that's the reason why. And in school, I of course loved the art classes and doing things with clay and stuff like that. So I have always been drawn to creative part of life, I guess. And then when I was 19, I worked at a cafe, and one of my colleagues there, she just had her nails done. She was modeling for nail school. I went there, fell in love with the whole thing, and started to work with nails. This was back in, as I mentioned, 2005. There were no social media. You could not look up people or their artwork in any way possible. I think I got Facebook when I was around 21, 22. So we didn't have anything. If you wanted to put an ad out for your work, you had to do that like in the local newspaper. So the only people you were inspired by were pretty much your colleagues at the salon where you were working. And I remember that one of the girls there, she had a bunch of stickers, and I thought, you know, oh my, yeah, well, that's interesting, but I want to do something more. So I tried to find these nail art classes, but there were none. Finally, I got to attend maybe one or two that was around, and you know, even the people that were attending these classes, they were not impressed. And I remember them saying that, oh my god, I'm never gonna do this at the salon, blah blah blah. And I remember the first nail art class that I took was to learn how to create those well, you know, hearts on a string. You know, you put dots on a nail and then you place your brush in the center of the dots, and then you draw a straight line, and then you get hearts on the string. Try it out if you haven't tried it out yet. And then we also of course learned how to do these tie-dye patterns. They weren't called tie-dye back then. It was just a cool effect that you could do, but now people are doing it everywhere. And it's funny, this was 15 years ago when I first started doing this. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures from when I started out, like the first maybe 2-3 years, because you know what? People did not have cameras around back then. I sound like I'm a dinosaur, but that's the truth. I got a digital camera a couple years later, and that was what I was using. And then after that, you know, you got decent, okay cameras on your phone, so then I could start taking pictures using my phone instead. So that was a good thing. But at least I got something, and that is what you see right here. You know, we had lots of things, but people were just not interested in nail art. My clients did not want to try out nail art, and some of them were a little bit more brave, you know, putting the classic Swarovski, tiny Swarovski on the pinky, and that was pretty much it. So I was all in all pretty disappointed with the nail industry. When I started out, all I ever got to do was French or just a solid color. That was pretty much it. A couple of years later, well, I started out and then I got into my dance career. I was doing that. I kept the nails on the side, and a couple of years into my dance career, I also started to experiment a little bit more with nail art on myself because I was probably the bravest one around. And I tried out these stickers, and I remember getting these oh, I don't remember the name. I'm gonna put it up here. The nails. It's a specific style. I just don't remember. It's like a designer, but I don't remember the designer's name. You'll probably recognize it. So I did those nails, and I was so proud of them because they took forever. They were stickers, and I did ombre. And you know, it was they were pretty mesmerizing, I would say, and chunky as fudge, but they were pretty cool. And then I had one client, she's still with me today. She was definitely open to try out different things, so I got to try out like mylar flakes, I remember, on her, and some other things. But when I got back to the nail industry about, was it 7 years later or something, I was, you know, I was sitting at home doing nails with a couple of clients. But then when I decided to quit my dance career and then get back to nails, the whole nail thing changed dramatically. So then people were actually into nail art, and people were more open to try out new things. I was using a different brand back then. It is called Calgel, and it's a Soka brand. And I switched over to Light Elegance. Yeah, I think about 7 years later, once I got back to the nail industry, and I realized that, you know, I need to have a distributor in my city if I am going to be able to continue working with nails, because the distributor left, and so I had to get products from Denmark, and that did not work out. So I switched over to Light Elegance, and that is what I have been working with since. The funny thing when it comes to me is that I had never been interested in nails before I got my own nails done. And I remember one time at home, I was creating these like Pepsi nails, and I painted like the bottom part here blue, and then I had stickers on that went like that, and then I painted red, and then I painted it white, and you know, it was multiple steps, and they were actually really cool. They were probably super messy, but to me, I think I really like them. And I remember painting my friend's nails maybe once or twice, but that was pretty much it. You know, I was never into nails, but I was into art. And nails, that's just a different way of creating art, really. It's just small, tiny canvas. And since I love to challenge myself, getting a really small canvas is definitely a challenge. So I was just taking all the stuff that I already did and then just threw it onto the nails, really. But it wasn't easy. I didn't start out with the nails that I do now when I started. As you can see, obviously, this is something that has evolved and grown over these past 15 years, really. So don't be hard on yourself if you don't nail it right away, because you just need to let time do its thing, really. So once I got back to the nail industry, as I said, people were more interested in well, were more open, I would say, to try out new things. And I started creating these nails that, you know, you had different things on different nails, and people thought I was crazy. And I posted these on Instagram. Instagram just launched, so I used that platform to just show off my work. I had no clue what I was doing, really, but that's a different story. But I was posting my pictures on Instagram and they were getting slaughtered. People hated it. They really thought that I had a stroke or something. So as you can see, these are some of the nails that I did when I got back to the nail industry and started to experiment a little bit more, and also switched over to Light Elegance, and they had a little bit more product to use, I would say, for nail art. And then it just evolved. I developed my nail art skills. I tried out new things. I pushed myself, and it just went on and on and on. And of course, you know, with social media, you get inspiration from other people, and especially, you know, people from all around the world. So it just goes faster and faster and faster and faster. And now I'm here. And that's what I want to tell you. Don't compare yourself to someone who is not living your life, who is not using your hands and your brain, because the conditions around us will of course affect the way that we create art. And art is such a personal thing. You can't really compare yourself to someone else, and especially don't compare yourself to me if you're just starting out, because I have been doing nails for 15 freaking years. And before that, I was painting a lot, and my work was not perfect when I started out, but I tried. And I understand that it's harder today because you have the ability to see so many other people do nail art and to see their finished work. So I understand that it can be intimidating and you kind of get blocked because you just have the images of everyone else's work in your mind once you start to paint. And I get that. I get that so much. And I'm happy that I didn't have that, because social media was growing as I was growing my skills as well. And for me, I was one of the first people on Instagram, on the platform, so I was kind of leading the way. I was setting a lot of trends myself. Those trends today would mean nothing probably, because now, you know, people are so skilled. So I do understand you. I fully understand you, and I can feel that way sometimes too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am not sitting up here being like, oh my god, I'm the best person in the world at nail art, I can do anything, and yeah, that's it, I'm done. It's not like that. I get discouraged as well. I have bad days. I have periods where I don't have the inspiration. It's hard to dig that out in general, just find that inspiration. But it's a process and it's really personal. So if you ever feel discouraged and feel like you're never gonna get anywhere, just please take a look at my pictures and remember that it takes practice. Just let time do its thing. And if you really want to do it, if you want to get good at nail art, set your mind to it and you will get good at nail art. Of course, not everyone will get to the point where they can paint a Mona Lisa or whatever. As I said, you know, we're born with different things, brains, hands, conditions around us, everything. It's like, you know, everyone can kick a football around. Yeah, in Sweden we call it football. I know you guys are probably calling it soccer, but okay, soccer ball. But not everyone will become a soccer pro, and that's exactly the same thing with nail art. But if you set your mind to it, if you really want to become better at nail art, nothing can stop you, really. Just sit down and practice, have fun with it. Don't compare yourself, just take inspiration. Just don't shoot yourself down because someone else is better. I do that all the time, so I'm probably the worst person to tell you this, but sometimes it's easier to say it to someone else than actually take it in. So please, I'm telling you now, just take it in. Don't compare yourself to other people. Enjoy the art. Have fun with it. So in the upcoming videos, I will talk more about confidence, how to get past those negative thoughts, and so on. We're going to talk about different tools, stuff like that. Anything you would want to know about nail art, we're going to talk about that. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos in this series, please let me know. And if you have any suggestions, put a comment right down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!